Zoom has been so weird. Like, the stuff that I've had to do on Zoom. So out here, I point this way because this is where Los Angeles is.
It's up.
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. Oh, it's also weird. It's so weird here to have west be where the ocean is.
Yeah.
And when people are like, I'm going west, I automatically picture New Jersey. Like east, I picture water and New Jersey, and it's so weird. Yeah, there's lots that's weird about
How far are you guys from the beach?
12 miles, but
an
hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Although not now.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah. Is this bothersome that this is...
No.
Wait, this is all banter that people can only see visually.
It's true.
Well,
okay, first of all, let me tell you about all the times I've listened to you in my car. Now, going into my car, so I have a baby. I have a baby who is 8 months old tomorrow, and going into my car and getting any time to go anywhere is a vacation. Like a trip to 7-Eleven is now a vacation.
Yeah, you drag it out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I looked at products. I looked at so many different kinds of those types of reading glasses that you just buy from a gas station or a drugstore. I tried them on. Ian is wearing one right now. Jessie, are those?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Readers. Yep.
CVS.
Because it's like, I have a moment to myself. I'm going to treasure it and eat it up.
I had that and I loved every second of it. And then my daughter got old enough that then she became like the tag along. And I mean, that's obviously changed in the pandemic. If I go anywhere, it's solo, but it would be Wawa. Do you miss Wawa, Kelly?
Oh, I miss Wawa. I miss specifically Thanksgiving.
The gobbler?
The gobbler.
Yeah. Ian, what beach point are you at for real? I promise I won't show up.
And is the ocean behind you? Are you right on the ocean front? Because all we see is a...
And what's the street crossing?
We're in Sea Isle.
Oh, very nice.
Sea Isle City.
Yep, that's where rich people go.
No, this is the Irish Riviera. This is...
That's Avalon or Stone Harbor, Kelly.
Oh, that's right. Yes, Avalon. Yes, thank you.
Steve, where is he? You know Sea Isle. Look at that deck. Look at the capping on that porch. What do you think?
Can you tell? I'm in a rental property. I'm safe. We'll just say I'm safe.
I'm going to say he's between 60 and 68th.
Right now, listeners at home, Ian is creepily coming in closer and closer to the Zoom camera, staring Steve down.
See, Kelly gets it. There's a lot more people that listen to the audio than watch the video. I don't know why, because there's so many video jokes in this show now.
There's a pregnant pause that can be understood in a medium.
Speaking of pregnancy, I hate being pregnant. Women who are like, so many women were like, I miss the feeling of being pregnant. Oh, you're pregnant. That's so exciting. And what they miss is feeling special. And I know that sounds condescending, and it's like, Kelly, how dare you say women aren't? I'm not saying women aren't special inherently. Women are, of course, special.
No, you're having a whole conversation by yourself.
Listen, I'm just anticipating. It's quarantine, Kelly. I forget how to talk to real people in quarantine. But like what people miss is feeling special, because when you go to cross the street, if you are trying to cross 95, if you are trying to cross the Schuylkill, if you are trying to cross the 101 or the 5 or the 405, to use LA terms,
Kelly's in all her audience.
Listen, I just want to get both coasts.
We're talking about walking across?
People will stop. If you are pregnant, everyone will stop and like tip their hat to you and be like, congratulations.
You look wonderful. You're glowing.
Yes, you are glowing. I had a Vietnam veteran at Lowe's give me part of his of his vet discount because I was pregnant and behind him in line. And he was so concerned that we would be caught and in trouble for using his vet discount for someone he doesn't know that he goes, okay, I'll see you just at the family dinner later. And I went, all right, Uncle Juan. He was like, okay, boop, and like went on his way. Like, people give you shit when you're pregnant because you are somehow furthering humanity or whatever people see as special. That being said, being pregnant is horrible.
So 8 months, I can do the math. So you're pregnant all through the summer.
When did I have sex and get pregnant?
I was doing the backwards
1st,
math.
2019, Kevin, you perv.
I was going to do that later. No, but so
that's usually Ian's question. Hey, this is Steve with the Punch Up Podcast. With me on this episode are Jessie Preisendorfer.
Hey, Steve.
Kevin Regan.
Hey, Steve.
Ian O'Shea.
Hey, Steve.
And our storyteller is Kelly Vrooman. Kelly,
Hey, Steve.
thanks for being here.
I'm so glad to be here.
Kelly.
Is this where it starts? Oh, damn.
This is it. It's all you.
Okay. All right. So this is the story of when I taught an Israeli soldier how to kiss.
Ooh.
Quite a mitzvah.
Okay. All right, it's a mitzvah. Yes, I did a mitzvah. So I, when I was living in Philadelphia, I loved going to the wait, what's it called? When people do a bunch of plays in the fall.
The theater.
Fringe.
No.
Fringe.
Fringe. Yeah.
Fringe.
The Fringe Fest.
Fringe Festival. I know what theater is, Jessie. Thank you very much. So
That's why I'm here.
thank you. So I love going to the Fringe Festival. I would always like look up fun, like basically I would look up any play that had nudity because at the time I was hosting a children's TV show, and which you all know, it was on Sprout. And I basically needed an outlet to just get to live the wild life. And so I would
like that adult entertainment without being like adult entertainment.
Correct. So it was legit theater, but would also involve nudity. Like it would be like Shakespeare, but done in a morgue with corpses, but the corpses were played by people.
Dong sphere.
Shake dong.
Yeah, Shakes Dong's better than Dong's. Well, they're both good.
Dong though. It's fun.
Taming of the dong.
Oh, so like that. I went in to see a store in a storefront. There was a naked ballet. And like to watch a guy do just a bunch of like twirls around while totally nude, it like centrifugal force makes things rise. So I befriended this older gentleman who had come out as gay late in his life and was like, he wasn't interested in sex. Really, he just wanted to like embrace being interested in like young men and nudity and all this stuff. And so he also wanted to like go out and live big adventures. And so he would befriend younger people to like take on these adventures. One of those adventures that he wanted to go on was to Israel. He had always wanted to go out to Israel. And I was like, he lets me know, he's like, well, I know you're Christian, you'd probably enjoy this. And I'm like, I love that you know I'm Christian, and we met watching a naked ballet as this dude's penis centrifugal force is just like helicoptering.
That's how he knew.
I love it.
That's literally how he knew.
He was like, this girl's a Christian. Look at her pent up sexual angst.
He was watching the audience watch that guy.
Yeah.
How old was this gentleman?
80.
Oh, wow.
Oh, fucking came out late.
Okay.
Gentleman.
So he was going to Israel. I was like, I'm in. So it was one of those tours that's like a bus tour, which if you're in Pennsylvania, you're a bus tour stopping by Amish country. But this was in freaking Israel. So we fly into Tel Aviv. He's paying my whole way. We had to share hotel rooms. And he was at the stage in figuring out his sexuality in which he would love to just say sexual things because now he could. And it was, it made it very awkward for me, being around a bunch of new people who don't know us. So everyone is seeing this young woman with a very old dude
who's just like shouting out sexual things like at a restaurant.
It's shouting out.
Is he like Nathan Lane, like Birdcage gay? Was he just
no,
exploding?
He's not that flamboyant. So he just reads as old, awkward dude, because also his entire professional life was as a lawyer. So to everyone else, he reads as just an old, awkward dude with maybe his granddaughter, maybe his daughter.
So how long did you know this guy before you embarked on a tour around across half of the world by yourself?
Okay. Jessie, fair question. Maybe 3 months.
Mm-hmm. And
that's fine.
Your family and friends were cool with you just picking up and going?
Well, we don't tell them everything, do we, Jess?
The girls and I are going to,
Yeah.
Also,
so I basically told my parents.
For those not watching the video, when Kelly was asked how long she knew him, she said 3 months and made the face, which leads me to
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, without a doubt. I agree 100%. Yeah. That night, it was that night we finished the play, at least. Once the centripetal force slowed down, then we're like, plane?
Yeah, as the penis is falling.
By the time that guy's dick hit his balls, she was on.
They were boarding. Yeah.
He set up a passport photo on the sidewalk for her.
As the other female identifying person in this Zoom room right now, I am so happy that you made it back alive.
Thank you, Jessie. Yeah, I definitely only told my parents I'm going because I'm 25. So
I too am glad you're alive.
Can we all get a vote? I'm glad you're alive.
I mean, I'm not trying to say that people aren't, but my heart is in my throat at the thought of you just.
Yeah. No, I know.
Doing this.
Yeah. It's insane that I did this, and I recognize that now. And I think now, as a new parent, I have a daughter who's eight months old. Yeah. I cannot imagine ever letting her get on that plane without me at least knowing a shit ton of more information. It was, it's crazy. So
how old does she have to be before you let her watch a naked man twirl in a storefront?
She's already seen it. Oh, okay.
7 months?
She's seen it. Is that what you said, Kevin? Yeah. She's seen it. Too late. 5 months? If it weren't for COVID. So, I already knew and I already felt weird, but I also at the time had been just a struggling artist up until that point. I just booked Sprout and doing this live kids show. And so I, up until this point, was so poor, poor, struggling, eating rice out of nothing. Rice out of nothing.
No, but I know exactly what you mean.
Flying in the air.
Yeah, just flying in the air, grab it, and ham. And I, someone offering to pay for a trip for me to go to Israel, yes, I'll take this. Maybe I'll die, but it'll be worth it.
Did you give it a pause at all? Were you kind of am I being played here?
What I gave pause to was, oh, you better be gay. Because he was gay, I felt okay about it.
But he's also 80. And I don't want to be an ageist here, but I definitely, at every point in my life, I could take an 80-year-old. I don't think there was a point in my life where I couldn't take an 80-year-old. That's,
Yeah.
If this guy asked you to go to Israel, Kevin, you'd be on a plane.
Without a doubt. Absolutely. Yeah. And if he asked me to twirl around, I would do that too.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, I had already defined to myself that he was gay. He had already talked about recently finding his sexuality and how exciting this was. We went to see a play that was clearly a very gay male.
So you fact checked that.
I thought I had fact checked it, Ian, but the problem is that once we got there, old version of him clicked in, and he kept wanting people to feel like I was maybe his mistress. Because that's what he knew was try to be straight, try to pretend to be straight, try to pretend to be straight. And so we would be in front of people. And by the way, secretly apart, I had told everyone, this is my dad and this is his final wish. Like I told everyone on the tour, on this bus tour, like, this is my dad.
Wait a second. This is a movie with Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah.
It's me and Gerard Depardieu. I've seen that movie. Yeah, where you have to pretend, like, let everyone know this is my dad. This is not. So I wanted to, like, let everyone know this is not, because also it wasn't that. I wasn't his mistress. I wasn't there to do sexual favors in return for yet. So I was very self-conscious about this. So I would like, because he would be too tired to like go do a bunch of activities. So I would like, we fly into Tel Aviv and there was like a walking tour. He was a little too old, a little too feeble to go on the walking tour. So I went on the walking tour.
So you went on every walking tour that was available.
Yeah. Anything that would get me away from this guy.
I'll see you at the end.
Absolutely. I'll see you on the Gaza Strip. And so, like, I would tell people like, oh yeah, me and my dad, but then it made it super awkward when later he would go, oh, and he grabbed my ass a couple times, because I think that's just what he like felt he needed to. So anyway, I was like, okay, I really need to convince people this guy is my dad. And which just made it so difficult. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. We go to all these different spots. I'm there because at the time I would consider myself spiritual now. At the time I was very religious, and it was actually a very religious experience for me to be in the world where Jesus walked, to be in the place where like we think this is where the feeding of the 5,000 went, and I just wanted to sit there and soak it in.
Right.
But then also I'm 25. This is my first time that I'm ever experiencing anything outside of our Western hemisphere. I had been to like Haiti, I'd been to Ecuador on a couple missions trips with my church youth
Kelly,
group.
you grew up pretty religious, correct?
Yes. Very, I would say evangelical, which is a specific side, which is a more conservative, very guilt driven, very like, do not smoke, do not drink, do not swear, do not have sex, don't talk about any of it. Like, so the fact that I'm now in a foreign country, like with a dude who everyone is either assuming is my dad or I'm having sex with him, and God forbid both. Like it was a lot for me to process.
Well, and they did identify you immediately as an American, so it was like, maybe?
For sure.
Maybe.
Well, it's all possible.
Yeah.
Kelly, you stayed in the same room as him, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we ended up staying in the same room.
Separate beds?
Separate beds. We always had like little twin beds. But still, like they're
One of you always had one foot on the floor.
Steve, you know my life. That was always the rule. Door slightly cracked, 1 foot on the floor. As though sex couldn't happen doggy style with all 4 feet on the floor.
Okay, that's very French.
Yeah, Ian is awake again. Ian, he was like, I'm in, but I'm in.
Oh, what?
And just charged back into the camera.
Come back as he puts his dime store glasses back on.
Yes.
So here's the context. I'm with this guy in freaking Israel. We get to the Dead Sea, and up until this point it had been all religious sites that for me was a bit of an identity crisis and a holy crap, this is where Jesus walked. Like I can't, this is the Sea of Galilee, but I can see the other side. What is the story then where the waves were so big, everyone was so scared that then they went to Jesus and he calmed them and was like, calm waves. Like it was just so much to put the Bible stories I had always imagined in my mind to an actual physical location. That being said, I still think Jesus is a freaking rock star and his example is how we should love each other. Let's all just do that. This election, don't vote for Trump. Be like Jesus and don't vote for Trump. So anyway, that being said, we get to the Dead Sea, and that is the one place that's not specifically part of the Christian story.
Not a lot happened there.
Not a lot happened there. It's just freaking fun. It's a dead freaking thing that you walk into and literally there's no chance of life. And when you sit in it, you float so much, you can't it's hard to get underwater. You can't get underwater. It's so buoyant. So you just keep floating. So we get there and this, my non-sugar daddy was like, hey, would you like a massage? And I was like, ew, gross. He was like, from one of the professionals at the resort. And I was like,
oh, he got you. Yeah.
He got me. And so, oh, by the way, this was a bus tour, right? And so we are all, I am the only person, I would say under 40 at the time. And the only other person under 60 was a dude who was there with his mom, who he was also the drummer for Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Oh.
No.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Are we sure that was his mom and not like his sugar mama that
Who was really
Yes, 100% his mom.
Okay.
You're certain that wasn't KC?
It was not Casey. It was the drummer for Casey and the Sunshine Band.
No,
He was also, he and his mom were the only non-white people. He was delightful. He was 42. He had long, I think he was 40. I think he said that sticks out in my mind. I don't know, but he has like long black, like dreads, and he was just freaking cool. So he and I became buddies on this.
To be fair, 42 sounds like horny too.
Okay, he wasn't. So he had a girl back home that he kept talking about. And so he and I became buds because we're like the only young people. So when a walking tour would take too long and other people would be like, I'm out, he and I would continue on. So me and this guy became buds. So we get to the Dead Sea. We're like, this is party time. He and I were like, let's go down and float in the Dead Sea. It's our first night there. Let's go. It's late. It's dark. I don't know. So me and Casey and the Sunshine Band go down to the Dead Sea, and we go wading out, and we go out and we're like, whoop, whoop, we're just like floating.
At night, when it's very, really dark.
It's very dark, and it is dark. When you're there, it is so, it's like, yeah, touristy area, but it's not. It was like, at least in whatever year it was, 2009 or whatever, it was so dark. So we go out, and we're just floating, and we hear this, hey, you're not allowed to do. By the way, guys, I don't know if this is an Israeli accent. I don't know how, you know what, in order to not offend anybody, I'm just going to talk in a higher voice because this kid had a very high voice.
I don't know that we've had an Israeli accent attempt on this show. So
I think it's an accent you can't mess up.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, let's not, I don't want to play that game tonight.
Thank you, Jessie. Thank you.
Yeah.
So he goes, hey, you're not allowed to be out there.
That's
And-
a Muppet.
Yeah, he was a Muppet.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey
And
Mouse. is
so,
cool. Sure.
so me and Casey and the Sunshine Band are like, what's happening? We turn back to shore. By the way, we're only like 30 feet out, but it's very shallow and we're floating entirely on water. Like you can't drown in the Dead Sea. So he was like, you can't be out there. We're like, what? So we turn and we see a guy with a giant freaking semi-automatic like weapon in front of him that he's holding. We're like, oh my gosh, we don't know. But the fact that he assumed we were American was a little insulting, but also we get it.
Yeah.
So
He was right.
you also can't really swim back. It's like paddling through jello. So we're awkwardly like trying to get back to shore. It takes us far too long as he's just kind of patiently waiting.
To be fair, there was no one else in the Dead Sea other than 2 Americans, correct?
2 Americans, one of whom is the drummer for Casey and the Sunshine Band.
That's why he assumed you were Americans. You didn't read the 17 signs on the way down to the beach.
Yeah, no, but here's the deal. This is what makes us Americans. We saw the signs and went, it doesn't apply to us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was 25. He was 42. Who's to blame?
He was he's at that point, he's the big celebrity too, though, so he does not need to follow rules.
No.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Correct.
He could have been
Jesse,
Sunshine himself.
wait. I would like to just go into Jessie real quick. Your face has all sorts of concern on it, and I want to know your thoughts.
People hate us right now.
As Americans?
Yeah.
Correct.
I have a feeling like we're just learning about this right now, but I think this feeling has been going on for a very long time.
Jessie, that is so true. And when I was in Israel, like as 25, I learned it. And so ever since I've been 25, I've been so aware of how the rest of the world sees us and hates us. Like it was very this like, you're entitled. How dare you? Like it was like at the time, like, yeah, it was very it was very uncomfortable.
Right.
I hated telling people I was American. I started telling people I was Canadian. I started telling people I'm a Canadian person who's there traveling with her elderly father as his final wish. Like, I was full of lies.
Yeah, there was not one truth at all.
You're basically like Jason Bourne.
Yeah, I was Jason Bourne. Okay, so this guy is holding this freaking gun. He's like, you're not allowed to be there. Casey and the Sunshine Band and I finally get to the point where we're out, and he's like, did you see the sign? We were like, yeah, but we didn't see anybody around. We thought it was no big deal. It's like, it's a big deal. So Casey and the Sunshine Band, because he's a celebrity, is like, hey, come on, let us buy you a drink. You can have a drink, right? How old are you? You can have a drink. The kid's like, I'm 21. He's like, I'm 21. He's like, okay, come on, we're going to go. There was a bar like super close. So we all go. We get up to this bar, me, Casey and the Sunshine Band, and Israeli Soldier.
Who's on duty.
Who's on duty holding a giant ass gun.
Can I just
gun I've ever seen.
Can I tell you the greatest setup to any joke I've ever heard in my life is me, the drummer for Casey and the Sunshine Band, and an Israeli soldier walking to a bar. Like, I cannot wait.
A bar right off the Dead Sea.
A bar off the Dead Sea where you're not supposed to go. Like, the last time there was a bar near a place you're not supposed to go, I went down to Atlantic City with a group of friends, and we went to this bar right on the beach, and there were signs, you're not allowed to go swimming. We go to the bar, everybody drinks, we all go running into the ocean. Like this.
Hold on. Is this Jaws? Are you telling the plot line to Jaws, Jessie?
And then the mayor came over and said, you got to open the beaches by July 4th.
You will not ruin my summer.
And then some guy sang an old sea shanty to us. I don't know. It's a nightmare. Anyway.
Of Spain.
So we get a drink and we're enjoying just whatever beer is there, kind of just talking about life and asking this kid, like, okay, so you have to join the military? What is that like? What do you want to do? All this stuff.
Right?
As freaking shake, 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 shake your booty comes on the radio.
No.
The bar.
That's messed up.
Ian, okay, for our listeners at home, Ian is right now happily pretending to be a drummer, playing along to shake, 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 shake your booty.
He also suggested that song.
Yeah, he did. I actually thought Ian was milking 2 cows. That's what I thought that was.
And funnily enough, he looks like Robert Shaw from Jaws right now. So not.
He does. So we're in there, and the Casey and the Sunshine Band goes, this is how I. By the way, he wasn't the original drummer. He now is the drummer.
So weird.
It's clear because he was only 42 at the time. He is now the drummer. So I just want to make that clear. He was not the original drummer, but he plays that on tour.
He's like the John Stamos of Casey and Sunshine Band.
Oh.
He is.
Because Dennis Wilson ignored the signs and drowned in the Dead Sea.
That's a sick burn.
Guys,
you know.
Man,
Ouch.
the many ways that you slam the Beach Boys on this podcast.
I
feel
love
like
the Beach Boys. Please understand, I love the Beach Boys.
I love Pet Sounds and nothing else.
No, I love. I don't love Mike Love, but I love the Beach Boys. Kelly, please proceed.
All right, so we finished up our drinks there. We have a couple drinks, so I'm feeling a little like boop-a-doo-boo. And this kid who's carrying a full-ass semi-automatic or just automatic weapon, I don't know the difference. It had a bunch of bullets also around his chest.
But was he? I mean, he was a hot Israeli soldier.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, not hot, just a dude.
Sounds like the gun pushed him over the edge, though.
The gun made the man?
Yeah, you keep talking about the gun that he was holding.
Oh, you mean for me, it made him hotter?
Yeah.
Ooh, I've got to
Was it
dissect
the
that for
uniform?
myself, Steve.
Yeah,
Was
the
it the
uniform
uniform?
and just the whole
Or the
thing.
uniform.
Or was it what you were facing back when you got to the hotel room?
Guys, I think it was just I'm 25 and who cares? And the guy waiting for me is 80.
Yeah, it was
That's the
door
point.
number 2.
You could show the guy that's 80. Like, if I make out with this guy, that would really like let this older guy know, like, I'm definitely not interested.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Sorry, Dad, I'm off the market.
I'm off the market, gay old dad. Please
never
be
asked
gay
you
old
for-
dad. So, yeah, I basically tried to set up everything that wouldn't make that guy a prospect. Anyway, so Israeli Soldier and I and Casey and the Sunshine Band were heading up the steps back to the hotel. And Casey and the Sunshine Band was like, oh, gotta call my girl. because whatever time it was like an okay time to call her. And I was like, okay, because he and I had been buds. Like, he was like, he goes, oh, don't do anything I wouldn't do, which I hate that because I am a very literal person. I like when people give specific advice. And so when someone says, don't do anything I wouldn't do, I think in my mind, okay, what would or wouldn't they do? And I end up in a rabbit hole. And truth is, he's Casey and the Sunshine Band. And he's
done it all.
42 and just went swimming in the Dead Sea with me and like is a little bit wild.
He has definitely done cocaine off a donkey's penis.
100%, Ian. So I was like, okay, I can't take that advice.
So what did somebody say to make you get on a plane with a stranger, an 80-year-old stranger?
Here's a ticket.
Oh, Jessie, I have so much to unpack after this.
Would you like to go to Israel with me? Sorry, it's Israeli. I'm
Good
not
job,
a reader.
Ian.
I'm not a reader.
Clever.
So I'm now left on the steps with me and this Israeli soldier, and we are just on these steps. And at some point in the night, we had talked about dating, and he had like, because Casey and the Sunshine Band was all about figuring that out. And he was like, hey, have you, do you have a girlfriend? He was like, no, I don't. So he was like, okay. Anyway, he left. Okay, blah. So now it's me and the Israeli soldier sitting on these steps. And I was like, okay, so you've never kissed a girl? He's like, no, I haven't. And I was like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to kiss. Here we go. And I go, wait, you have to move that gun. And he takes
right between us.
It's this giant ass gun.
Closer to me.
Yeah. Let me hold it for you.
Yes.
Let me show you.
Directly between. So I kissed the end of his gun, and I'm a go.
Oh, I'm so glad you did that, because I wanted to, and I didn't have the balls to do that. Thank you.
So he had to pull the gun around his back and like reposition it. And I was like, okay, here you go. And I was like, okay, so first of all, you have to like take the lady's face in your hand. And I'm 25, so I'm also not like an expert at really anything. All 25-year-olds think they are, but it's like, whatever. And so I'm like teaching him, basically I'm going off of every like Julia Stiles movie I had seen by that point. And like 10 Things I Hate About You. This is how Heath Ledger would kiss a girl. And he takes, I was like, okay, so put your hand here. And he put his hand on my face. And I was like, okay, then you pull in and you first start with just a little open mouth just to see what the other person would want. Anyway, he pulls in and I end up kissing him and he pulls back and he goes, was that it? And I was like, that was it, baby. And I went back and then continued on the rest of my trip. He was actually very good. I told him not too much tongue, just a little bit of tongue till you see what the other person says. And it was fabulous. And we are Facebook friends to this day.
My favorite part is when you started, he was like, oh, is this how you do it? And afterwards, he was like, was that it?
His voice changed.
Kelly, is that an automatic rifle under that blue muff looking thing?
Yes.
Also a visual. Those of you at home, Kelly is now making out with the thick.
Yeah, I think when you walked away, Kelly, he turned around to the next girl and was like, I've never kissed a girl.
Yep.
Yeah.